All right, welcome. So yeah, we're gonna be making some hardstyle today. I wanted to do a little tutorial to show you the workflow of how I do that. I usually like to make my hardstyle depending on what it is. So if I want a little bit slower, do 150. If I want it faster, I go for 172, more upbeat. So that's what we're gonna do today. Usually I like to start off with some piano, just get a whole entire chord progression and some like a counter melody on top, and then from there we'll add our synths and we'll make something funky. So let's get this going. We're gonna make a counter, kind of like a arpeggio underneath this. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, so we got that down. I'm just gonna go get my synths. So what I like to do for like hardstyle tracks is find another synth, just to kind of mimic the melody. Alright, so we got the Alright, I'm going to just move my camera over here for a second because I don't like how it sounded over there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get Serum because it's goated. I'm going to pull up my let's see. I'm gonna pull up my hardstyle lead. It seems to be messed up, but we're gonna fix that real quick. There we go. The hardstyle, like a big saw, big room, or like just a saw in general, and make it bigger. You want to use some saw waves, obviously, it's in the name. They look like this, kind of just, I guess, diagonal lines, right? And if you look at it into a variation like this is more of a jagged one because it's wavetable, but this is what your saw would look like. Essentially, you want to detune the shit out of it. So I have a unison of 9 on these. Let me turn this off so you can actually hear me. So I have a unison of 9 on these. So if I have all the effects off, which is not too much, so if I have this, it sounds like this. I can just start this from scratch. So if it goes like, alright, that's your basic saw wave with nothing going on it. This is unison, which is voices, so it's detune. Detuning essentially means you're stacking a bunch of the same phase and wave on top of each other. So it sounds like this, and then when you detune it out, it's essentially at different points in the phase when it stretches, and that gives it that detunedness because at different phases in the wave is different, I guess, pitches, right? Different little pitches. It's not the same as starting point 1. If you're at starting point 5, it's not going to be the same as starting point 1. So when you're at 5, it's a different tonality, right? So when you bring it together, it sounds like this. So yes, that's the start of this, but we want to make it bigger, more hardstyle-y. I like euphoric hardstyle, so mine has to sound more roomy and kind of like ethereal. Like angelic kind of in a way. So what we need to do is obviously add some reverb and some compression. So we want to bring out the lows. So essentially here, let me break down compression for you. So you put a multi-band compressor on. It hits multi-bands, which means it hits your highs, your lows, and your mids. Right? And essentially what happens here is that it takes everything, which is all those bands, and it brings everything up to a certain level. Right? So that's why we need to compress it, because we want every range, every band to come up. Just for the thickness of it, to give it more sound, more tonality. So that's what we want. And then reverb, of course. So if we bring this here, I'll show you this. right? Everything's up in your face now, it's louder. So, and then what we do with this, that's where you get your roominess. Then I like to add a little bit more layers inside the actual sound itself. So I add a sub bass, but I just leave it at a C, C5, which means it's right in your kind of your mid range, upper mid range, instead of being at your low mid range or your lows and your subs, which would be bringing the octave down to like 3 or 4. You want to just keep it right in the middle, so it's at the same middle C with your with both of the saw waves. So you have technically 3 waves going on at the same time here. So you have your sub wave, your oscillator A, and your oscillator B. So when it sounds together, it's like this. Alright, so that's all of it together. So now what I like to do is I like to follow this and get a nice melody on top of my original. So I just add the ghost notes. I'm just gonna follow my ghost notes. So as you can see, it's like boom, 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 right? It's because I have an oscillator, or not an oscillator, an LFO, which is low frequency oscillator. You can essentially think of this as like its rhythm. So you can attach this to the gain, which is the level, and essentially you can modulate it. So modulating means is that the way this knob moves will be affected by how this is shaped, right? So when I was doing it like that, it was having that vump, 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 right? And that was following a 1/4. So it has that 1/4 steadiness. I want this to be more sustained. So what I'm going to do is either get rid of it in total, or I just make it so that these dips are just on there. So I can, I guess, tune it to how I want as I go and make my sound. So you can still hear it, but it's not resistant, or not as much, but I can really do this, and there we go, it's just staying. So we're just gonna follow this. that's not bad. You have a nice little undertone there. I'm gonna actually paste this again, so I'm gonna copy that tune and paste it. I really like how the undertone is, so I'm gonna go follow that with a more intense line. Yeah. That's good. So So now what I'm going to do, I like that. I'm going to stick with that. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to load up some Electra X. We're going to throw a little background kind of to give it that, what's it called? Kind of give it that atmospheric, not really atmospheric, really just give it some more melodics, harmonics behind it, right? So we're going to make it a little environment for this to sit on. Okay, well. Welcome to Tone. Welcome to So I'm just gonna grab a hardstyle kick from Splice. We could make our own hardstyle kick, but it's not as punchy as I like to get it. So I'm just gonna get one of these. So we're gonna go through each one of my each one of these melodies that we got and see which one's the best. I usually just like make a bunch and then seeing which one hits the hardest. So let's see. So I'll take this, reset the time. So we got that. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna make a mono lead. So I have like all these I guess polynamic, I think. Anyways, I'm gonna make one sound so that it goes like that, and it's just gonna go tear right through everything. Hello, thanks for the void. Thanks for joining. So let me save this real quick before anything hits the dumpster. So always gotta save your stuff. Hardstyle. I'm gonna save this. Yeah, here we go. Since you're the first person talking, thanks for the void. You're getting this named after you. Things from the void. There we go. Alright, so to make this, we're gonna take this sound. We're gonna fuck with it a little bit too, so. I'll take this. Oh. So we're gonna have that going. So we're gonna grab this real quick. Let's go. So we're gonna affect this a little bit. We're gonna take a little bit of lows out. Now we're gonna focus on actually making this good. So let's see. I want to see how the harmonics would fit into this. So let's make something lower actually. I'm gonna give this like a tear. Oh. 1 second. Let's see. Just 1 second. Okay. There it is. Alright, we're gonna break this all apart real quick. DJ Valentine is my old alias. I switched to iWave. That's kind of where we're at now. I want to do something more long term, and this resonates with me now a lot more. I actually didn't update my socials, I don't think, on here. So I'm surprised you found that. Also, I forgot to change the hearts down there. So yeah, that was my old alias. I make hip hop beats as well. So that's kind of like still my Valentine ego. And then iWave is my EDM ego, I guess, at the moment. But I mainly focus on my EDM at the moment. Here, let me turn myself up a little bit. Test. That should be good. What's your aliases? Is Thing from the Void one of them? Straight up? Much respect for the Chicago house. It's near and dear to my heart. It's some old school work right there. Big fan. Yeah, if your tag is Things from the Void, I'll take a look. You got Spotify? It's pretty funny. I like that. Alright, yeah, I'll take a look at that. That sounds dope. We're gonna take a break from this, and we're gonna move on to something else real quick.